panel of MPs wants the federal government to look at making criminal pardons automatic for some offenders who have served their sentences. The House of Commons Public Safety Committee also suggests lowering the $631 fee for a pardon and simplifying the often complex procedure that applicants have to go through. A criminal record can hinder a person's ability to get a job, find housing, go to school, or travel. Committee members say in a report tabled without fanfare just before the parliamentary holiday break. Under changes brought in by the former Conservative government, lesser offenders, those with a summary conviction, must wait 5 years instead of 3 before they can apply to the Parole Board of Canada for a pardon. Offenders who have served a sentence for a more serious crime, like an indictable offense, for instance, must wait 10 years instead of 5. In addition, the application fee quadrupled to $631 from $150 to ensure full cost recovery, and the name for a pardon was changed to the more neutral-sounding term record suspension. Ultimately, the committee recommended the government review the fee structure. It also called for consideration of measures to make the process more accessible, as well as another look at the term record suspension, given that some offenders appreciate the significance of being pardoned by society. Police say a man is facing charges after an alleged stabbing in Leamington again on New Year's Eve. Provincial police say a woman who was driving along a local road was flagged down by a pedestrian who said he'd been stabbed. They say the woman drove the 24-year-old man to hospital, where he was treated for potentially life-altering injuries. They say they went to an apartment building where they arrested a 21-year-old man from Windsor. Officers say the man has been charged with assault with a weapon and assault causing bodily harm. A judge tasked with reviewing the practice said that police street checks, widely known as carding, have little to no value as a law enforcement tool and should be significantly limited across Ontario. The report from Justice Michael Tulloch outlined certain circumstances in which police may have legitimate grounds to conduct street checks or stop people at random and request identifying information. But Tulloch also said those circumstances are very specific, and the practice as a whole should be sharply curtailed. Tulloch was asked to turn his attention to carding months after the previous government made moves to eliminate what it described as systemic racism in law enforcement. Street checks started coming under intense scrutiny several years ago amid data showing officers were disproportionately stopping Black and other radicalized people. In 2016, Ontario introduced rules dictating that police must inform people that they don't have to provide identifying information during street checks, and that refusing to cooperate or walking away cannot then be used as reasons to compel information. Hamilton police are investigating a stabbing that sent a man to hospital on New Year's Eve. Investigators say the incident happened at around 11:30 p.m. They say the man, in his early 20s, suffered injuries that were not thought to be life-threatening. They did not provide any suspect information. The new year brings with it tax changes at the federal level that will affect just about every Canadian, as well as small businesses. One of the first changes workers will see is an increase in Canada Pension Plan premiums coming off their paychecks, the first of 5 years of hikes to pay for enhancements to the pension plan. Employment insurance premiums, on the other hand, will drop by 4%, and that's for every $100 of insurable earnings. Meanwhile, the small business tax rate is going down from 10 to 9%, but changes to how much so-called passive income a small business can hold are also coming into effect, which is expected to push some businesses into paying a much higher corporate tax rate. Also, in 2019, low-income workers can qualify for an increase in the Canada Workers' Benefit, but they will have to wait until 2020 to receive the extra money. The federal government's new carbon pricing system will also come into effect in provinces that don't have carbon pricing mechanisms of their own, resulting in higher costs for fossil fuels by April and direct rebates to partly offset the increased costs. Conservative opposition leader Andrew Scheer year is already gearing up to make it an issue leading to the October federal election, calling 2019 the year of the carbon tax. Police say a pedestrian has died after she was hit by a vehicle in Kingston on New Year's Eve. Kingston police say the crash happened at about 7 p.m. They say the 32-year-old woman was from out of town. Police are still investigating and no charges have yet been laid. Ontario drivers are facing harsher penalties for distracted driving starting today. The provincial government introduced the new rules in a bid to improve road safety. Those convicted of driving while distracted, including texting while behind the wheel, will have their license suspended for 3 days. First-time fines now range from between $615 to $1,000, and that's up from the previous minimum of $490. Drivers will also be docked 3 demerit points for a first distracted driving offense. Provincial police say the measures are necessary to reinforce the fact that driving while distracted poses a safety risk that many drivers ignore. A handful of healthcare champions have been recognized for their work to improve the healthcare system in northeastern Ontario. According to the CBC, the 7 recipients of the Healthy Change Champion Awards in northeastern Ontario include doctors, some public health workers, a volunteer, and an entire committee of community partners. Sault Ste. Marie should be very proud of Dr. White and Dr. McLean. They share a passion for helping patients in difficult circumstances. Both doctors provide physician coverage at a weekly drop-in clinic that operates on Thursday at the Neighborhood Resource Centre. That's on Gore Street. The clinic helps to link vulnerable people to much-needed medical and social supports. Also awarded was Alan Elliott, a Laird Township resident and the co-chair of the Northeast LHIN's Patient and Family Advisory Committee. Elliott is a long-standing volunteer dedicated to helping the less fortunate in the Sault and area. Over the past 2 years, Alan has helped collect more than 2,000 household items for donation to charitable groups like the Salvation Army. Montreal police say they're now treating the death of a 35-year-old man found dead on an icy patch of road early yesterday as suspicious. Police originally said the man likely died of an accidental slip on an icy road, but now they say they aren't ruling out other possibilities. Authorities were called at about 4 a.m. after the man was found unconscious on the street near some parked cars. Attempts to revive the man were unsuccessful, and he was declared dead in hospital. Police said the man was found lying on a sheet of ice, and they still haven't ruled out the possibility of an accidental fall.